Hey guys, Jeff Ryan here. First off, that Camaro, I haven't taken it off the layout yet. Been having a blast with that. The dump truck and the stake truck, interchanging them, it takes just a couple seconds and you get either one there. I'm still, I think I've decided I'm gonna paint the front of that. I'm gonna paint the front of that the way it should be. I might not do it today, but I've decided, hey, it's like it's trademarked to have that silver on the front though, even though I like the ones that don't have any accents. I know it's aftermarket. I think I'm gonna go ahead and paint that. That'll be an upcoming video. Why do I have a Slimline out? Because I had such a good response. With my last video about taking a push car like the Mustang or the side set there, the Chevy, and turning it into a slot car. A number of guys emailed me. I had some comments below and things like that about the Dragula. I love the Dragula. I love the Munster Coach there. When I did the Munster Coach, I knew I had to take a stab at the Dragula. And I remember being in the store, I was with my son. I said, you know what? A Slimline chassis is gonna fit right up under there, isn't it? I got home, it wasn't even close. So I can show you two ways. One of the ways to get the Dragula is using a Slimline chassis, but that's not how I first did it. I'll show you the bottom of it. I'll tell you what parts I got, and I'll talk you through it. I'm not going to discombobulate it, but I will talk you through it to where you will be able to do a Dragula on your own. Munster Coach, same way. I'll talk you through it. I can discombobulate the Munster Coach easier than I could the Dragula, but I can still talk you through the Dragula and get you to where you can do it. They're both fun projects. Slightly tedious, but once you get into them and you know you're going to make them work, they're a blast. They're an absolute blast. But again, when I got home from the store and I discovered that a Slimline chassis didn't fit under there, I was disappointed, but I thought I could do something to make it work. But there is, and I'll go through it, there is a way to get that chassis up under this Johnny Lightning Dragula body. We'll go over it, guys. Now, one of the cautions I discovered years and years ago about the Slimline chassis, I always, and this is from the factory, unused, that the back tires, when you spin them, if they spin with a lot of resistance like this is doing, you see the crown gear there? The left side of the crown gear, if you sand that bugger down, if you sand it down just a little bit and get some play in that back axle, the Slimlines work a ton better. They work a ton better. So that's something I discovered a couple decades ago, but I want to share that with people because they say, oh, it runs really slow, it runs doggedy. No, they don't. When you get that back crown gear addressed and everything, they run good. They run good. And just a side note, and I'll show you a little bit better, but this is one of the fastest Slimline chassis I've ever had. One of the reasons, you see that big neodymium magnet? I've got 4 of them on this chassis. And that's one of the secrets to getting a Slimline chassis to scream down the track is the neodymiums, because they inherently have smaller magnets in them. So if you can beef up the magnetivity, flux, whatever you want to call it, gauze, the neodymiums work very, very well with the Slimlines. But again, you have to address that crown gear. Now, I've discovered this as well. Not all Slimlines have that crown gear problem. They all don't. But if they do, and it turns kind of like it's not free spinning, it's not free spinning. You can feel the resistance there. You have to address that. You have to address it. All right, one thing straight away for either project, just like we did in the last video as far as taking the body off the chassis, whether it's a screw, whether it's a rivet, you have to address that. You gotta gut the push car. You have to take the chassis out. Again, if it's a rivet, you just take your time with the drill and you just drill it out, and then the guts usually fall out, okay? Now, the makeup of the car, like the pipes and everything, and you can see the wheel wells, or the distance of the wheel wells there, it's not consistent with what Aurora chassis would do. So be mindful if you have to use the wheels and tires that come with the Johnny Lightning, you just don't want to throw them away. Now, some of the tools that you're going to need throughout the entire project is a handsaw. You're going to be cutting through metal, plastic, things like that. With my Dremel, I have a cutter bit, and I have 2 barrel bits. One of them, you really need the center one there. I think that's a carbide bit, if I'm not mistaken. The other one's a stone bit. And you're going to be doing a lot of grinding when you do the Dragula particularly. Reason being is once you've got the body off the chassis, the inside of the body there, you're going to have to grind quite a bit. Sorry about that, I hit the off button inadvertently. But the inside of the body, you're going to have to grind a ton of it out. Now, this configuration here, I'm going to show you, I'm going to go inside and show you some pictures on the internet. You see the back axle there, the engine itself and whatnot. That was from a Tyco motorcycle, like the Harley Davidson. Let's go ahead and take a look at that, because that's why I knew I could get it to fit up underneath the body there, is by using something that was slim enough to do it. Okay, good. Here's the Tyco motorcycle there. In front here, you can see this is where I hooked the shoes onto the Dragula. And let's take a look at the bottom of it. Okay, very good. Look at the back wheels here. Look at the back wheels. You can see the gear there and how it comes from the engine. And I thought that this stuff being slim enough, I could possibly get it up underneath the Dragula. So I had to tear apart the bike. I had to tear apart, and I knew I wasn't going to use again. And when I was done with it, I was certainly done with it. But this is what I used to make the Dragula, because I thought it had the I don't know, what are these? The brush holders that go down to the springs in the shoes. I thought that I could, make that work with the Dragula, so I did. This is one way to do it. If you got one of these, you're going to have enough parts to make the Dragula the way I did it. I've never seen anybody else do it this way. I've seen everybody try or attempt it with the Slimline. All right, very good. Let's go back out to the garage, and I'll tell you about the Slimline and how to get that underneath the Johnny Lightning body. All right, back out here in the garage. Now you can see the back axle. What I had to do is I had to get a long axle, and you got the same gears, and that's what the motor looks like, articulating with the back axle there, and the little round brush spring holders, that's where I attach the shoes. So again, if you got one of those motorcycles, you'll have everything you need to make it just like this. Now that back axle, yeah, I had to make it longer, but I also used some metal tubing to glue it in place where I needed it. So you literally have to figure out how to do it, so to speak. It's like, does this work? Does this not work? You just one step at a time, and yes, you can do it. Now, the Slimline, one thing that I gotta caution, and it's gonna take a bit, it's gonna take a bit to do. One thing about the Slimline is you have to grind the inside of the body. And I'm not talking about just lightly. You have to take the, the carbide bit there and grind the snot out of it. You really do. And you have to have an affinity for being covered in metal flex when you're doing it, because it takes a bit. Once you ground it down, it's still not gonna fit on the chassis. It's still not. And it will get paper thin on the inside of that body. It'll get paper thin. So you have to use caution. Now, here's the way to get that chassis to fit up underneath there. You have to sand the side of the chassis. You literally have to sand the magnets, the side of it, the engine plate. You have to sand every bit of that down just a little bit to get it to fit up under there. That's what you have to do. And when I did it, it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but you can do it. The magnets, the top plate, and both sides, the chassis, both sides, you have to do both sides. And once you get it skinnied up, it'll just slide right up under there, and the chassis still works. The chassis still works. Here's another caution. The front wheels and things like that. When you slide that up under the chassis, you might have to get rid of the front wheel holders there of the chassis. You'll know what I mean as you get into it. But you might have to sand them down, do what it takes, but you can get that chassis up underneath there. It's not easy. It's not easy. And to get it to be able to set down where the wheels are, where they should be, so it's not jacked up in the back, again, not easy. It's a fun project. It is tedious. But you have to sand both sides, and you have to hollow out the middle. And like the engine top there, the pipes, everything, when you take apart the Dragula, that's all one piece. You've got to cut it up. You have to cut it up. The little hood there, hood scoops, they do come off, but then the engine block itself and the pipes, that's all one piece. And you'll have to cut the front wheel assembly off of the chassis as well. So there's some things you have to do like that. That's why I say you've got to have one of these flat blades to do it. You have to take it apart, figure out how it's going to work, and then start cutting. Same thing with the Munster Coach here. Let me disassemble it. I'll talk you through what I did there. All right, I got the body off the chassis, and now you can see the neodymium magnets clearly on the side. They're bigger, but boy, they make that chassis scream. And I put a red light there, and it kind of you can see it underneath the engine when it goes on. I had some fun with that, and I got Herman in there. All right, let's look at the bottom of this. Now the front screw post, it was at the time, I don't think I had any styrene. I used a piece of insulation that was around a wire. That's what I used for the front and the back screw post. So that's what I, just being resourceful at the time. But you see the part that holds the wheels on that front assembly, right there, you're gonna have to cut some metal off in order to get it to fit into the this part of the chassis. Now, I'm not sure if I had to do this or if I thought I had to do this, but you see the way I ground down the top plate there, kind of beveled it a little bit. I don't know if I thought I had to do that or if it was necessary, but if I had to do it, it was probably trying to get the front part to fit better. That's what it is. The caveat with the side steps. I have made the Munster Mobile with the side steps on. It's pain in the butt. It's pain in the butt. I just soon, and you can't have the big neodymiums on there if you do keep the side steps there. But once you grind out the rivet, the whole thing falls apart. And the seats back there, you see how you can see through the seats? I had to grind down the seats in order to make the chassis fit underneath there. That's what I did with that. And I recall that the little black tail light there, that bugger came off. I remember having to glue that back. So overall, not a hard project. It is a little bit tedious, but as far as trying to get this on a Slimline chassis, you're going to be grinding, you've got to be careful. I even tried to stretch the body out a little bit with my fingers to try to make it a little bit more wide as I was grinding to fit here. But then the key is when you can sand down the side there, and I recommend like a bit like this, when you can literally just grind down, it doesn't have any axles in or anything like that. That's the way you can get it to fit up underneath there. And you see this little blank space right there in front of the small gear there? That's where the engine will go. That's where that will go. So it works out. Guys, if you try it, let me know. I want to see pictures. I want to see, your attempt at it, a small video, something like that. Again, you can do it. You can do it with a Slimline, and then you can scratch bullet from one of those Tyco motorcycles. And again, if you do it, let me know. Let me know. I will help you any way I can through the project. So I tell you what, both the Dragula and the Munster Coach, they're fun projects, guys. They really are. And again, leave the Slimline. Look how fast I can go with the neodymiums on there. The caution, yes, the caution is that back crown gear, the only crown gear. If it isn't if it isn't articulating right and the back wheels are like really stiff, you have to address that. That's a huge caution there, guys. Okay, so anybody want to do the Chevy? That's up. The Monte Carlo, still up. Some people have expressed interest in it. You have to email me, okay? Because then you can give me your address My email should be up on the screen right now. Anybody who wants either of those, let me know. And when you do a project like this, let's say you're doing the Monte Carlo, I want to see the project from start to finish. I want to see it like right out of the box when you get it. I want to see what color you're going to spray it. I want to see your tape job, your paint job. I want to see every bit of it. Well, you got to drill the screw post, whatever you have to do. I want to see pictures, guys. I want to use it for content for upcoming videos. So if you want a blank project, please, pictures. And I don't think I'm going to hang on to the Mustang. I really like it. I love the 64.5. It fits real good. It's again the alloy metal alloy body, I guess, because it's kind of light. It's kind of light. It really is. It really is. So if anybody wants that, raise your hand again. Email me, and I'll make sure you get that. And I love that the Camaro. I love that Camaro. It has not come off the bench, and I am really considering doing the front paint job there as far as the accents on there with my upcoming video. A second person wanted an ice cream truck bumper, so let me know. Again, my email address is right there on the screen. Say, hey Jeff, send me one. I've got a plethora of them. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can get a Slimline under there. Pain in the ass, but you can do it. Again, that's why I scratch built it from the Tyco. And you should use a Slimline if you're going to do the Munster Coach. All right, guys, I had a blast this weekend. Let me know if you need anything. See ya.